All right, welcome back, or welcome if you haven't been here before. The Knicks are now on a three-game win streak after the win last night in Miami. I want to talk about these three games, but first I want to start with the very first game out of the three. The Knicks at home taking care of business against the Sixers. This is a game where I felt the Knicks should have blown out Philadelphia. Honestly, at a point in the game, the Knicks were up by 14 to 15 points, and I thought the game was trending in the direction of a blowout, but the Knicks blew it down the stretch. At one point in the fourth quarter, the Knicks were down by 4 points with about 2 minutes left, and I honestly thought the Knicks had lost the game. And for Philadelphia, I want to start out with Philly. I usually don't start with the other team's players, but Paul George, who's been really bad this season, looked better than he has in a long time with 25 points, 7 assists, 8 boards. The efficiency wasn't incredible, but it wasn't all that bad for him. 4 for 9 from three, 9 for 20 from the field, so about 45%. But his true shooting and effective field goal percentage increases due to the 3 point shooting. So he was pretty efficient for a guy that's been very bad this season. A guy like Tyrese Maxey was 0 for 10 from three, which definitely helped the Knicks clutch out this win. But he did still have 30 points. So he did miss a lot of shots, but he scored a lot, which the Sixers needed considering Embiid is out for the season. He wasn't announced out for the season at this point during this game, but a lot of people already had the feeling that he was going to be out at least for a long time. And then a player like Kelly Oubre, who's not known for scoring, had 27 points on the night, 3 steals and a block, and he was 4 for 6 from 3 point range. So he really provided the Sixers a scoring boost that they needed. Other than those three guys, no one on the Sixers scored double-digit points. So it was really just those three guys going to work. And it talks a lot about the Knicks defense, especially uh, letting guys that just aren't great scorers or are not the same players they used to be scoring pretty much however they wanted to on a night. But the Knicks did win this one, and we're going to talk about why. First of all, most important part of the Knicks win was Jalen Brunson, and you're going to notice a trend with this video. Jalen Brunson is practically the main reason for the Knicks winning these three games. Obviously, not the only reason, but the biggest factor. On this night against the Sixers, Jalen Brunson had 34 points, but more importantly, he got to the free throw line whenever he wanted to. He had 16 free throws on the night, so he got fouled 8 times, and he made 15 of the 16 free throws, 3 for 5 from three, 8 for 17 from the field, which is not bad at all. And he distributed the ball very well with 7 assists and only 2 turnovers on the night. Josh Hart was all right this game in terms of scoring, but his most impact was his 17 rebounds on the night. And he also had 7 turnovers, which hurt the Knicks a lot, but he made up for it with solid defense all throughout the night. The Knicks bench didn't provide much this game, but that's not very important because Mikal Bridges had a great game against the Sixers. 12 for 18 from the field, 3 for 5 from three. He's been struggling from 3 point land pretty much all season, so it was good to see him hit some shots in this game. Two steals and a block for him, and I believe he had 19 points at halftime. Finished the game with 28, but he was very aggressive this game, looking for his shot, and he just looks comfortable against teams that are not great, and it's not something that really speaks to me. I wasn't very impressed with his performance, not so more impressed, but I wasn't excited really because the Sixers are just a bad team, and the fact that this game was so close honestly worries me. This is a game that the Knicks should have blown at Philadelphia, but a win is a win, and you take it nevertheless. And after this game, the Knicks actually had an opponent that a lot of people, including myself, thought we would lose to, and it was the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis. And although the Knicks have blown out the Grizzlies earlier in the season, that was at the Garden, and you know it's different playing on the road. Plus, the Grizzlies are healthier this time around, more cohesion for the roster. And the Knicks had been struggling as of late to beat great teams, but the Knicks were able to pull this one out. This is what I really want to focus on. My main focus of this video, the Knicks comeback in this game. The Knicks at one point in the game were down, I believe, double digits. Yeah, the Knicks were definitely down double-digit points. And honestly, it really felt like the Knicks were going to lose this one. The Knicks were getting killed on the glass. Uh, Zach Edey, I believe, had a bunch. Yeah, Zach Edey had 11 rebounds. Desmond Bain somehow had 12 rebounds. Jaren Jackson had 7. But yeah, the Knicks were just getting out rebounded. Zach Edey was too tall for them. I remember him grabbing some very crucial rebounds. Uh, John Morant was just scoring a lot. He wasn't efficient on the night, but 25 points for him. He got to the line. Desmond Bain didn't hit a three, but he was 9 for 17 from the field, 6 for 6 from the line, so 24 points for him. They were just getting a lot of second chance points and securing defensive rebounds, offensive rebounding, practically over everyone. It was nice to finally see Mitchell Robinson back. We'll touch on him, but he just wasn't in condition, and understandably so. He hasn't played basketball in 10 months. So while he did impact the game with some rebounding, he only played 12 minutes on the night, so he couldn't really change the rebound differential there. But for the Knicks, just I wanna talk about Jalen Brunson, uh, and OG Anunoby specifically. OG hit the game winner, but that wouldn't have been possible without Jalen Brunson. Uh, so the Knicks inbounded the ball. JB got the ball on the right side. He almost fell. No, he did fall. His hand touched the ground, and I was there thinking like, he was gonna either force a shot for it and it was gonna miss, or I'm not sure if he was gonna turn it over, but whatever. He kicks it out to OG. OG gets a wide open three on the left side of the court and just sinks it. And I lost it honestly. I was excited. The Knicks haven't had one of those shots in a long time. I saw on Twitter that the Knicks haven't had a go ahead shot down two with 10 seconds left or less since Melo hit those shots against the Bulls back in 2012. So to see the Knicks hit a game winner like that was very impressive. Although when OG hit the shot, there was about 4 seconds left on the clock, I believe, maybe 4 or 5 seconds. So the Knicks still had to go down the court and secure the game winning stop, and that's what they did. Mikal Bridges, who did struggle to a degree on the night, especially from three, doesn't not very aggressive getting to the free throw line, but that's something that he's been struggling with all year. But yeah, he could secure the stop. He forced some John Morant miss. Ja went straight to the basket, tried to lay it up. It was just off. And then Mitchell Robinson subbed into the game for the last couple of defensive possessions. And a very underrated thing that a lot of Knicks fans or just guys that watch the NBA in general will notice is that Mitch Robinson did an excellent job of boxing out Santi Aldama and preventing him from getting a tip in. And he essentially also secured the game winning stop for us, and a lot of people won't think about that. And Mitch was very impactful. Let's talk about him some more. 12 minutes on the night, but he was 6 points, uh, 5 rebounds, and an assist on the night. He did have this bad foul on Brandon Clark, which was an N1, but that's understandable considering he hasn't played basketball in a long time, like I mentioned before. But yeah, I mean, he had a move where he caught it on the low post and sort of put his body into whoever was guarding him. I believe it was Jaren Jackson Jr. or Zach Edey, one of the two big men. And he made a left-handed layup. It was a nice post move, something you don't see Mitch Robinson necessarily do. So it was good to see him do that. And then just as usual, the defensive impact was there instantly. Obviously, the timing is a bit off. But yeah, it was good to see Mitchell Robinson just impact the game at a high level. Someone that I haven't mentioned yet that I should have mentioned is Deuce McBride. 3 for 5 from three, 7 for 11 from the field, 17 points, 2 steals on the night, 3 assists from him, 4 rebounds. He was just incredible all night long. He hit a very big three in clutch time to either cut the lead down or to tie the game. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but he was just incredible all night. Landry Shamet, off the Knicks bench, played a lot better than he has lately. I believe his shoulder's finally recovering from that surgery that he had to get during the preseason. He looks much more comfortable with his shot now. The defensive, the willingness to defend is always there for Landry Shamet. Although he might not be very big or very strong, he definitely tries a lot on that side of the ball. So it's always good to see from Landry. And then, like I mentioned before, Mikal did have 15 points, 7 for 14, 0 for 5 from 3, but Mikal came through when you needed him to most. With the the game winning stop on defense, and he did have 2 blocks. A lot of Knicks had blocks. Actually, every single Knick in the starting lineup against Memphis had a block. Uh, 2 blocks for both OG and Mikal, and then every other Knick in the starting lineup had a block, which is very impressive. But the Knicks defense has been struggling. Although the Knicks haven't allowed an insane amount of points over the last couple of games, there hasn't been a single opponent that has scored 120 or more. It would be better if the Knicks were to hold opponents to about 100 or less, or maybe 105 and less. But regardless, the defense hasn't been struggling. But I do believe that the Knicks defense will get a lot better with Mitchell Robinson back in the lineup. But that's a conversation for another video. I do want to finish this wrapping up. Like I said, we would talk about the 3-game win streak. Let's talk about the Knicks win last night against the Heat, which was very stressful because this is a game where I thought personally the Knicks should have blown out the Heat. The Heat were without Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Andrew Wiggins, who I believe is a very good player. Especially this season, he's had a bounce back. Maybe not very good. It might be a bit of a stretch, but Andrew Wiggins, regardless, is a good player. And obviously, the Heat are not the same team anymore after the Jimmy Butler trade. Even before the Jimmy Butler trade, the Heat just haven't been good in quite a while. But yeah, last night against the Heat, first of all, I want to talk about Mikal Bridges because throughout this video, I've discussed him being either good on the defensive end or bad offensively, or he just struggles to shoot the ball. And he has just a lot of inconsistency. Last night, Mikal was 2 for 11, 1 for 6 from 3. He did have 8 assists and no turnovers, which is impressive from him. But he did get benched in the fourth quarter. He only played 20 minutes last night, and Deuce McBride uh, played more minutes than him last night. And it's just not a good sign. A guy that you traded so many picks for, a guy that is supposed to be the third option on offense, just getting benched for a guy that's on a $4 million contract, albeit is a good player, but it's just not good to see. However, Jalen Brunson is the two words I have for this game. 31 points, uh, 3 for 11 from three. It didn't matter because he hit the important three in overtime. He's ridiculous. There's not a lot you could say about Jalen Brunson. He's just good all the time. He rarely ever has a bad night. He just did what he had to. But OG Anunoby in this game was huge for the Knicks. He had 3 blocks, 2 steals, 23 points. He was efficient, 4 for 9 from three, 9 for 18 overall from the field. Just on both ends of the ball. He had a clutch block late in the game, and then he got an important stop against Tyler Hero just to secure the win. He did have a tip uh, in over. No, he not in overtime. He had a tip in off a Jalen Brunson missed three to keep the Knicks in it to cut the lead down to one. And he just did it all. I can't even speak. I'm stuttering. That's how good he was last night. It was just very impressive from him. Karl Anthony Towns was pretty good. 19 points, 16 rebounds for him. He wasn't some foul trouble, but that's very typical of Cat. That's an issue that he's always had. I hope that he works on it more and more. The Knicks guys did play a lot of minutes, but that was only because of overtime. If it wasn't for those 5 extra minutes, there wouldn't have been a single Knick over 38 minutes. And I think this is great because ever since Mitchell Robinson came back, a couple of nights ago. The Knicks are now running a 10-man rotation. So that's honestly pretty good to see another game where Landry Shamet was a lot better than he had been early on. 2 for 4 from the field, only 1 for 3 from three. But he looks more comfortable with his shot. He looks like he has more confidence in his game. Like I mentioned before, the defensive effort is there. And yeah, the bench was pretty solid. Cameron Payne only had 5 points, but he did have 3 assists and a steal with no turnovers. He's a very, very competent ball handler. He's a good playmaker. He doesn't turn the ball over very much. His assist to turnover ratio is very good. He's an energy guy. I just like to see Cameron Payne check in the game and hit a couple of threes when the Knicks need it. He always does that for us. Mitch Robinson, 13 minutes last night, only 2 rebounds and 2 points, but he did have a nice block in the game. I'm not expecting too much of Mitch Robinson right now, considering he's still trying to get back into a basketball shape, not playing that many minutes. But his defense is just there. It may not show up on the box score, but he deters players from the rim. He helps the perimeter defense by allowing the guys to push up further on the perimeter and knowing that they have a rim protector like Mitch Robinson back there. And he's much, much better at drop coverage than Karl Anthony Towns. Although I don't believe the Knicks should run as much drop coverage as they do, considering this is three-point shooting league now. But regardless, Mitch Robinson is much better to watch defensively than Cat, and it's just a good watch. And just like the other night, Deuce McBride was very big in this game, 3 for 7 from three. Uh, he just is always there on defense. He's very active. He was a plus 11 for the game. He just did everything you need him to. And yeah, and then someone I didn't mention who I don't know why I haven't mentioned, Josh Hart. Josh Hart was just everywhere in the court. 7 rebounds, 14 points from him, a block and 3 assists. He just does what he needs to. I do have an issue with the fact that Josh Hart is very um, hesitant to shoot the three, and that's something that he should be working on. He's down to like 33% from three when he was like at 38, 39, 40% from three earlier in the season. I didn't expect Josh Hart to stay at 40% from three, but I would like to see him at like 36, 37% from three on like 3 attempts a game. And the weird thing about Josh Hart is in his rookie year of his career, he shot like four threes a game or a decent volume, and he shot like 38% from three. I get that his role changed throughout the years in the NBA, and he may have gotten stronger. And sometimes when players get stronger, their shoulders are heavier, messes up their jump shot. But I feel like it's something that he can do. He has a hesitancy to shoot the ball sometimes, and it's frustrating. But regardless, Josh Hart's a great player. But I do want to touch on the Miami Heat side of things. Bam Adebayo was practically unstoppable for most of the game. He had 30 points, only missed 4 shots the entire night. He just worried me the whole night, but eventually we were able to stop Bam. Uh, yeah, I don't know how the Knicks won this game. Honestly, I don't think it should have gone into overtime, like I said earlier. But someone that really impressed me for the Heat was Khalil Ware. Had 6 blocks on the night, and they were all like great blocks. I Walt Clyde Frazier on the broadcast said that Khalil Ware should not spike the blocks, out of bounds or into the bleachers, and block them how Bill Russell used to back in the day, where he would just, get his fingertips on the ball and be able to probably catch the ball and make a pass, or just get an extra possession rather than swatting it out of bounds. But still, his blocks were impressive. He also had 12 points. But he was just he's really fun to watch, honestly. So I hope he's gets better. I did see that he got hurt. Mitch Robinson accidentally landed on him. Yeah, Mitch Robinson accidentally landed on him. My God, I can't speak. But yeah, I hope he gets better soon. Uh, Other than that, Tyler Hero was inefficient, but he did have a lot of points for Miami. Alec Burks, 4 for 5 from three. Former Nick Alec Burks, hit a three where the Heat cut it to one in overtime. And honestly, I thought the Knicks might choke, but yeah, Alec Burks was he's just a shooter. That's what he's always been his entire career. Other than that, from Miami, no one really did anything exceptionally well. But yeah, I mean, the Knicks having these 3 close games and almost potentially losing all of them, having to come back a couple of times. The Knicks came back down from down 19 in this game. Yeah, the Knicks were down 19 at one point in this game. Biggest comeback of the season. I forgot to mention that. I should have mentioned that earlier. At one point, the Knicks were down, yeah, like 19, like I said. And I thought this game was over. But yeah, the Knicks pulled out a really impressive comeback win. But the thing is, they shouldn't have to be any scenarios where they're coming back against these teams. But yeah, uh, that's all I got for now.